Okay, hello, peoples of the world. It's Ushma and me again. And we want to talk today about quantum creation because we got having a chat over the weekend, and I think it was Friday, about where we go for quantum creation. And it's like we go beyond the known, beyond the what is, beyond what science says, beyond what is expected, beyond what's even possible in some of the consciousness theories and stuff that we have. And I think that's when you look at people like Einstein and Tesla and Da Vinci and, what we would call those prodigy geniuses over time, they all had this, in my view, this deep, rich connection to the universe or the infinite. And they were looking beyond what was known at the present time. So they could put on offer these quantum leaps in thinking and innovation and creation and possibility. And you and I do that. We have that deep, rich connection. We go beyond. And so we were talking about how it'd be great to share how we do that so other people could, play with that as well. So that's my intro. How about you?
So it is really interesting, and it's only when you put it like that I'm like, yeah, it is this connection to the non-visible. It's the connection to the thing that hasn't physicalized yet, that people have had in the past, and the dynamics of that, I think, have changed now. But that's as consciousness has changed and the energetics of everything have changed. But yeah, I love the thread that people have been doing it for eons. The Da Vinci's, all these different people who are still really exciting to me. Like if I touch their work or touch something they're doing, it completely fills me up. And it is a space that's beyond category, because if you look at a lot of them, they're not like an artist or a musician or a whatever. You become a polymath, you become connected to everything, and categories dissolve in that space, and you're playing with the energetic. So the what of the manifestation isn't as important as the energetic and what you're tapping into, which is beyond anything that's existing right now. So you're not, I was looking at it this morning, I got something from someone and I was like, oh, I get it now. They navigate the world, they look at what's happening in the world, they look at all the research, and then they make their decisions. And when you're a quantum creator, you don't do that. You go into a space where nothing exists. You tap into the field, the energetics, and there are lots of ways of playing in that. You can seed something and have that and see where it goes. You can look at creating something very specific, but do it with the energetics. And again, you'll get a quantum leap. Millions. I think there's as many people there are, that's how many millions of ways there are probably to do it. But the thing is, it comes from this space where you're not trying to navigate what is, and you're going from pure inspiration and pure energetics.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is that, like for me, my way is I'm connected to what I call infinite intelligence. And I would define that as an innately intelligent design system of the universe for popping new possibilities for life into place. It seems to have, it's not like it has a plan. It's not like it's all planned out the way humans would do it. It's more like it's got this multifaceted realm of all possibilities. And it could occur on many different levels and many different categories, as you said. That's why for me, I call myself a hyper creator, because I can't just do, I'll just do business, or I'll just do coaching, or I'll just do consciousness. No, I have to do it all. So I completely get that. Because when you're operating beyond, I think you're plugged into this intelligent design system. And that design system doesn't, it's not really what is. It's a all things possible and beyond what you can dream possible. It allows you access to a realm of thinking, creating, being that's infinite in its nature, that's wildly quantum in its scope, I guess you could say. So you do become a creator, but when we talk about creator on earth, we do think about you're creating art, you're creating writing, you're creating innovation, you're creating products, you're creating a business, that kind of thing. And we're talking about something else altogether, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can kind of take that in two directions. Like what I was thinking when you were saying that was, I mean, I know how I used to do it, whereas I feel like I'm on the cusp of discovering kind of a new way of doing it. So the way that I used to do it was probably more aligned to what you're talking about there, in that I was bringing in the energy of something, and I would follow the energy of that and be guided by that into its creation. And that could be an anything, you know, it could be on a really tiny level or a really huge level. It, you know, the what again isn't so important. And there I was guided by the energy, and I did what was 100% aligned to that energy. And what's changed for me is now I'm sourcing the energy, and I'm at the center of it, and it comes from within me out. And what the latest kind of thing that I got a couple of days ago was that I do need to put in the source seed of something and then let that explore. So kind of backtrack a bit. I've been about this whole idea about beyond imagination. So I don't like to put something too defined in, because I want to see what is it possible for us to create. Like really, what can we do? We're here on earth. When you bring the energetics and the physicality together, what is it possible for us to create and achieve beyond the realms of what I can imagine into place or what I can think into place? So that's why I talk about a source seed, which is just like a potential that I can seed through my energy. And then allow that to flourish and become what it becomes. So that's a bit nebulous to talk about, but that's what I'm kind of playing with at the moment.
That makes perfect sense to me, because that which was out there before is now starting to embed in here, and we are becoming source creators that can do that. And I think for me that includes I integrate that intelligent design system and how it operates, and I'm still picking that apart. I suppose you could say that's not the right way to talk about it, but I'm still playing in that playground to discover what's what. But I do notice how easy it is for me to think beyond. I can watch what scientists write, what cosmologists put down, what astronauts exploring, new planets put, and I know when I read it, that's looking from here, that's looking from here. They have missed looking from here just yet. Like it's like I can see it completely. And then what I'll always do is take myself beyond all that. So it's a consciousness. It contains a level of known consciousness. And I think when they're talking about scientific breakthroughs, for example, and somebody like breaks it through, and then it like opens a door to the scientific consciousness, and they start to explore, and that gives them another realm. But there's so much more, and there's so much more, and there's so much more, even for us, even as we're exploring consciousness and energy and creation, it's like there's so much more, there's so much more. It's a never ending quest, search, creation, becoming,
Because when you're describing that, it's like that's quite linear, because when scientists are kind of unfolding, they're unfolding from what is, and unfolding and unfolding and unfolding to discover and understand what's been physicalized. And where we're talking the quantum leap is this hasn't been physicalized, and it's not linear. We go straight up into that field beyond totality, beyond what exists. And so I'm describing that in a linear way just to kind of paint a picture, but that beyond totality for us now is here and landed in our bodies and on the planet. So it's not up there beyond what exists. It's actually here.
Yeah.
And it's all simultaneous.
Yep, I get that. I don't know if everybody would experience it that way just yet, but it's energetically and consciousness, definitely what you're saying. I think for me, so let's talk about how we do that. I think I'm so used to still doing it. I just, it's like I go like that. So here's everything I know as consciousness, as my being, as my infiniteness, right? And then it's like I just allow myself to just I expand beyond that. So I've taken the reaches of my possibilities beyond anything that's known. It's so my reach of consciousness, you could say. That's how I access that. But there's also a piece from in me that's connected with that then sources it into physicalization in some way. I might call it energetically. I might give it language. I might write it through. I might, work with it in some other way. But that's my process of bringing quantum creation through the unknown. What's yours? Can you describe it so people could get a sense of it?
Well, I'm wondering, before I do that, whether you want to kind of just do a little mini example so people can feel it. Because I think a lot with what we're talking about, you can't really talk it. You have to feel it somehow.
It's a sensory experience.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Do you feel like doing that? Or?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So I want to use a physical example. So if you can think of one, shout, but I'm just trying to see what it would be. Okay, let's take climate change. Okay, the current state of climate change in the world. So there's a level at which people look at climate change like, oh my God, we're screwing up the earth. We're doing all these terrible things. Oh, we're going to die. We're destroying the earth. That's one level, right? And then there's the eco-innovation level where they're doing amazing things. A lot of it's still in the what's known, but yeah, let's take plastics out of the river. Let's design things that will dissolve plastics. Let's start to use plant-based alternatives to plastic. Let's take care of the beings in the ocean. Those are all approaches to it. And then there's probably some people that go to a level of like, woo, super innovation of, like I saw one the other day where they found a thing that dissolves plastics and puts it back to its chemical origin, so then the chemicals can be reused if they want to be. That's pretty cool. That's a bit of a leap, but it's still inside the known. Okay, so if we took that and we went into this quantum creation beyond the known space. Okay, so for me, I just take a deep breath, and I have to like fill myself up with a kind of exuberant, joy-filled excitement, I suppose is how I would say it. Getting a high vibe. And then it's like, I expand what's my known thinking into a vast array of consciousness, a vast array of infiniteness. And I reach beyond anything for where possibilities are birthed from, an origin place of new ideas, new possibilities, okay? Oh, that was interesting. Now, this isn't so radical. I'm going to give it to you in pieces of ideas that came. This isn't, I don't think this is as far beyond the known, but it is, there is a possibility to have what's called climate stewards on the planet. People who have an extraordinary relationship with the climate as a miraculous force. And I have the feeling that nature, the earth, the climate, it knows what it's doing. It's part of that intelligent design system. It does know what it's doing, and humans tend to intervene across it. Whereas climate stewards would be, I suppose the old term for it would be like shamanistic, but this is way past that. This is like a capacity to be in relationship, to bring forth the magical, miraculous, synchronous, like an expert in an area we don't currently have experts in. Way, way, way past. And it would be a new level of expertise and mastery, and a whole new genre of learning and being and sourcing a beautiful earth with the most wondrous, miraculous breakthroughs in climate, and teaching people how to be back in sync with that infinite intelligent design system. So you can see that's not too much of a quantum leap, but there's a little bit of a thing, but then there's a level beyond that. So I could see there were levels beyond it. It's the level at which you become a source God creator of all life. And at that point, you are sourcing new possibilities of what climate is. You are sentientizing climate. You are infinitizing the magical, miraculous of climate. It becomes its own wizardry, its own mastery, its own, you know what I mean? Like now you have, that's different than just like, a climate steward. That's one level, but there's a whole other level of, whoa, what's possible that we don't even know? What's inherent in nature and the earth and climate that we don't even know exists yet? And it's part of what we've been doing in our consciousness innovation work over the last little while, couple of years, is there's a miraculousness in nature, and we like calling it forth, giving it space to roam, to play, to not let the human cut across the intelligent design system, to let it be the primary force in partnership with humans in all life. And what we're seeing is more green, more blossoms, more natural soil, more, all of that. But there's a whole other level we haven't even tapped yet.
Yeah, I think we are. It's hard to talk about this without talking about the fact that we are in the era of the miraculous, or the magic, and where we work from. It is about that level of it. Actually, I yesterday heard Bruce Lipton talking about the earth, and he was using the parallel of like someone with cancer having a spontaneous remission.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. If when we shift our energy, the planet will have a spontaneous remission into its glory. And actually, that isn't, like, when I feel it, that isn't even what we're talking about. Like the energy of this is so pure, and it's about a planet that's never been before, and it's about nature that's never been before, exploding into being. And if you come from the space that this is, okay, so I'm probably taking it a bit far, but then hey,
go for it.
This is a holographic reality that we're in. And as we change our consciousness and our energy, then what we experience changes, and what the planet looks like as a whole will then shift. And that's where the quantum leap is, to actually leap into the earth of never before that we get to experience.
Yes, and that's what I could feel as I went beyond. I could feel the possibility of what we call climate as like its own God source force element in a beautiful altruistic partnership with life as an intelligent system. And it is an intelligent system. It always has been. I'm not denying that. But this is a level way beyond that.
Yeah. It's as we evolve, it evolves, and as the consciousness evolves, everything evolves. And it's completely magical, and it's getting more magical by the day when you go out there. And it's a brilliant way for people to actually experience the consciousness shifts, is to be in nature, and really just be in it, not as what they think it is, and not seeing a flower as a flower, but literally just being with.
Yeah. It's a whole paradigm beyond anything that's existing yet, as a God source creator paradigm of everything.
Yeah.
You, me, the climate, the earth, the trees, the whales, the
Yeah.
humans, coming to a level of creation. Now, what I also wanted to say is that the moment I reached that, we touched it. You can see we both touched it, right? And we bring that into a conversation. And now we're sharing that conversation. But we were calling it forth. We weren't just, oh, there's an interesting possibility, let's talk about it. What happens when you touch a new quantum possibility? It goes, boom, like, it's like somebody just opened the door and said, go for it. It's like, and yes, of course, we're sourcing that. We are consciousness creators and innovators anyways, but it immediately comes into being.
Yeah, I'm feeling it presence more and more as we speak. It's kind of landing more and more in my body.
It's not something we have to go do a bunch of steps about.
No, but you can see the difference there. So I know you said it, but I'm just going to kind of just reiterate it, that you can come at the planet with a problem solution focus, which is what we've been taught to do, and where strategy is all king, and you work out your goal or the issue you're looking to solve, and then you work out a way to get there, and it's problem solving and it's linearity, and through that you are always going to be stuck in the paradigm of that loop.
Yeah.
Because you're just being in that energetic, and that Einstein said something about you can't solve a problem from the level it was created, and we'd probably take that to the next space of you can't solve it from the consciousness at which it was created, and you have to move to a new consciousness entirely.
Yeah.
So that's that way of doing it, and the difference is, what if we're in a world what if there is no world? There is nothing for you to solve, and it's about pure creation and joy. What are you creating now?
Yeah.
And by doing that and being with it's not just it's doing that, but being in the vastness of the movement of the energy that you are sourcing.
Yeah.
All the other things get sorted. You move to another reality where that thing doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
And instead you are creating brand new, for everyone, that it's the only way we're going to lift out of any of this stuff is when we stop trying to lift out of the stuff and just start creating the new stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to give people a practical example of how this shows up. Years and years ago, there was an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. It was probably 10 years ago, maybe more, I don't know. And it was really quite devastating. They were showing how these black oil on the water and all the birds and the fish and everything. And I remember in consciousness at the time, we were on one of our conscious innovators call. And I remember doing this and saying to nature, let's create a spontaneous, natural way that doesn't harm any life, that's good, that can do this. Within a week, I saw a newspaper report that said, oh my God, where did this come from? There's a little amoeba in the water that's eating up all the oil. And I was like, of course. And now they find that, like they're finding mushrooms can dissolve certain things. And it opened up a whole way of looking at things that before it was all chemical, man-made stuff. And well, why not natural, miraculous natural solutions that can come out of nature and the earth and consciousness and us and that kind of thing. So it's amazing how fast these things, they want to be realized. And they want us to become source creator generators, to open the doors for them, to bring them through to, and it to me, it's a whole, other profession to be a quantum source creator. of new possibilities of
Yeah.
super innovation
Yeah.
in life that is really exciting. So, yeah.
Yeah. For me, there isn't the thing waiting to want to be realized, that I feel like I'm sourcing the energy that then
Yeah.
becomes the something.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah.
I do get it has just in recent months just moved inside.
Mm.
I do still have such a love for the universe that it and I just
Mm.
so there you go.
Yeah.
But it is evolving even as we go. It's quantum leaping even
Yeah.
in the last
And
few.
also, I think one of the I know we say this in every video, but one of the keys in this space is we are all unique, and bringing and doing. It's like if Source came onto the planet, there'd be no point us all being the same aspect of Source coming onto the planet. Like, we are each uniquely exploring what's ours to explore and creating from where we want to explore.
Yeah.
And the adventure and the exploration, I think, is the same for everybody, but the subject and the way we perceive life and what the reality we create around us is all very unique, and our expressions into it, even going forward, I think are going to be more and more wonderful and unique and different. And you know, there's a lot with the whole everyone talking about oneness, and people think that means we're all going to kumbaya our way into a world where we all agree with each other and everybody's living in peace and harmony. And I don't think it's going to be like that. I mean, I think the peace and harmony, but I think it's through multiple expressions, and there'll be things that you don't agree with, but you will honor the expression that aspect is creating.
Right.
And your aspect can be wildly different.
Yeah, joy and diversity. Yeah, I agree completely. I think so too. It's a very vibrant, dynamic, super creative quantum, playground of possibilities. And we will, one of the things I think we've discovered in our own groups as we work with consciousness innovation is no matter who says what or what perspective they have, it brings a gem to the party. And whether you agree or disagree, you explore that gem.
Yeah.
And let it unfold into something incredible. And we could take anything and turn it into that, quantum source creation place, literally any topic at all. And even if we disagreed, we don't tend to disagree. We tend to just lay out different gems and then see where they lead us, kind of thing. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. So yeah.
Beautiful. I think maybe we've gone off tangent, and maybe it's time to wrap up.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Hope
Thank
you got
you.
some really interesting insights from all of that. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.